Not a problem, dude. It's like one of my favorite things back home, dude.
Yeah, that's good. What was it called again?
Called yuca bread.
Yuko bread.
Yuca, yeah.
You think you could make it?
Audio Jungle.
Hamstring injuries like this month. Next month it's like a lot of, yeah, it's really weird. Maybe it's in our heads, I don't know. So we're switching things up just a little bit. We've been talking about movement. We've been talking about how to correct these movement patterns that we've talked about, like the squat, for example. Now we're gonna switch it up. We're gonna start talking about injuries. So today the injury, like I said, popular demand is hamstring strain. Hamstring, it's a group of muscles, 3 muscles in the back of your leg, back of your thigh. They start high up in your ischial tuberosity, kind of like your butt area, and they come down just past your knee to either your tibia or fibula. And the pain people experience can be anywhere from the middle of the muscle all the way to the top. Those are the usual spots, but you can pretty much get pain anywhere. Usually happens with running activities, a lot of jumping or explosive movement activities, or a lot of activities where you do a lot of like quick, sudden stops, quick stop and go sort of movements. So just like the other videos, we're gonna start by assessing ourselves. The way you're gonna assess yourself, number 1, is gonna be a single leg deadlift. You're gonna unlock your knees. So let's say it's the back of my left leg that hurts. I'm gonna pick up my right foot, keep my hips level and square. Then I'm going to come down, bring my chest down, stick my butt back. If I feel pain anywhere along the back of the leg, most likely it's a hamstring strain. Assessment tool number 2 is gonna be a bridge. So we're gonna come down onto the floor. Lying down on your back. Try not to use your hands too much. You're gonna tighten your core, lift your butt up towards the ceiling. If there's pain there, in the back of the leg, most likely you have a hamstring strain. Now that we've assessed ourselves, we're gonna treat it. How are we gonna treat it? Well, the basics are gonna be promoting blood flow within a pain-free range. And the important thing to note with the hamstring is that it actually does 2 things because it crosses 2 joints. It crosses your hip joint, so it actually helps with hip extension. Crosses your knee joint, so it also helps you with bending your knee. The way that we start with acute or recent hamstring injuries or very severe hamstring injuries is going to be separating the 2 movements. So we're going to isolate hamstring extension first or hip extension first, and then we're going to work on the knee bent aspect of the hamstring. For the hamstring extension piece, you're going to get yourself a resistance band and tie it to something sturdy like our pole here. You're going to feed your foot through a loop. And with the band, the reason why I like it is because you can choose how much or how little resistance you need. You're going to start with your feet hip width apart or even a little bit closer. Tight core. Your injured foot or your affected leg is going to start a little bit in front of you with the foot turned out. Now for this exercise, you can use something for stability. You don't want to be working on your balance for this exercise. It's going to be more of a resistance exercise for the hamstring. So foot turned out, a little bit in front of you. You're going to pull back and then point your toes forward and return for 3, 2, 1. Again, you're going to turn your foot out. You're going to bring it back into full hip extension. Core is tight. Turn your toes forward and then slowly return to the starting position. Common fault with this exercise is hyperextending your back, so having ribs flare out and leg really coming far behind. You want to make sure you keep those ribs down, keep the tummy tight, and just work through the hip extension. You're going to do 2 sets, 10 reps. Ideally, you want to work on that twice a day. That's homework number 1. Homework number 2 is going to be a variation of the bridge. So we're going to get back down on the floor. We're going to lie down on the floor, feet about hip width apart. Now for the exercise itself, you can use your hands for assistance. What we're going to do is eccentrically load the hamstring, which means you're going to push up with 2 feet, hips nice and high, squeeze your bum. Keeping the core tight, you're going to lift up your stronger leg or non-affected leg. So again, if it's my left leg that's hurt, I'm going to lift up my right foot, keeping my pelvis level, slowly lowering down for 3, 2, 1. push up for 1, lift up my unaffected leg, and then come down for 3, 2, 1. A common fault with the bridging exercise is not having your core tight enough, and then your pelvis drops down. So make sure you keep the pelvis tight. If a single leg variation is too tough for you, then you're just going to do a bridge with 2 legs. Same count, you're going to go up for 1 and come down for 3, 2, 1. Both of these exercises should be pain-free. You can modify the resistance or modify the range to do so. After about 3 weeks, if your pain starts to improve, then we're going to move on to part 2 of the exercises, which will be in the next video. We'll see you then.